Hello, future elementary educators. Hi, I'm Miss D, and today I wanted to share a few tips that I have acquired from taking an educational philosophy course that will helpfully be some type of assistance as you embark on this rewarding field as an educator. But first, I just want to give a little backstory of why I decided to be an educator. As a child, I was very shy and withdrawn, but having the privilege to have such educators as my kindergarten teacher, Miss Parks, and my third grade teacher, Miss French, inspired me to come out of my shell and use my self expression as my guide. However, there were other experiences I encountered during elementary and beyond where I felt lost and shuffled, mainly due to the lack of classroom management regarding discipline and out of control classroom. It made me wonder what strategies or tactics do they use to create an environment where the students feel welcome, safe, heard, and loved. Let's get started. First, I will explain why I chose to focus on the two field experiences of social, cognitive, and motivation and approaches to instruction. Next, I will give my purpose and goals and ask you key questions that will hopefully guide you through your educational journey. Next, I will tell you about key theories that led my observations and experiences. And lastly, I will give you helpful tips that will be hopefully be the cornerstone for a successful educational journey. During my field observation and experience, I observed and conducted interviews with several teachers. My first observation was with Miss Smith, a third grade teacher. I also observed and interviewed Miss Vasquez, an ESOL teacher, and I also observed Miss Jefferson, a special education teacher. My focus was to understand the importance of classroom management in an elementary setting, specifically how instructional approaches can proactively prevent behavioral issues. As I mentioned earlier, this topic is meaningful to me because I personally struggled in a disruptive classroom as a child, and I now understand how much that environment can impact learning and self confidence. I also wanted to dive deeper into social, cognitive, and motivation. I really wanted to learn how social and environmental factors shape motivation, behavior, and academic success. Now, take a few minutes and ask yourself these questions. What motivates you to be the best educator you can be, and how can you reach those goals? I'm sure there will be times you will feel overwhelmed and frustrated. Just take a deep breath and try to remember why you truly wanted to be an educator: to teach, inspire, and witness growth of your students. Now, as I dive deeper into my observation, I just wanted to explore strategies that will allow students to express themselves, feel empowered, and take ownership of their learning behaviorally and academically. Now we will discuss tips for success and the approach to instruction. My first tip is to be proactive. Keep activities moving. I experienced this firsthand with my interview and my observation of Miss V. She emphasized that quick activities transition every 5 to 10 minutes to keep the students engaged and on task. She also emphasized the importance of flexible seating and students' choice. It also promotes respectful behavior and self management. Tip number two: the importance of attention getters. Instead of yelling over the kids or yelling at the kids, it's very important to use great calm strategies like a simple hand clap to get the class back to order, or a simple phrase like class, class. I witnessed this firsthand in Miss Smith's class. Her classroom had a calm, inviting atmosphere with soft music playing in the background with posted rules. She used group work, clearly instructions, and effective strategy to redirect noise without yelling. She also modeled active listening and conflict resolution when students disagreed on rows. The next tip is be an active learner, focusing fully on the student. If a student is off task, bring the student up, talk to them face to face, find out what the problem is. Then you will know how to handle the situation calmly. Which brings me to my fourth tip: be patient, flexible, and calm. Children, now we will be discussing tips for success regarding social, cognitive, and motivation. Tip number one: be aware of overusing incentives and rewards. Although this is a great way to motivate positive behavior, they may eventually lead to the risk of dependency regarding desirable behaviors. Tip number two: motivate through personal interest. When a student takes tasks aligned with their personal interests, it becomes more relevant and meaningful, inspiring more engagement that promotes enthusiasm, which leads to more focus and concentration. Tip number three: use different strategies to motivate students. Offering students choices empowers them, fosters diversity, and increase incentives motivation. Tip number four: encourage students to set personal and class goals. This way, students are able to set goals, monitor their progress, adapt strategies, and build resilience. The theories that guided my observation were operant conditioning, which is a behavior shaped by reinforcement. This theory explains how the learning process associated with reinforcements and rewards modifies a person's behavior. I witnessed this firsthand in Miss Smith's room. Miss Smith has a colored coded behavior chart with prizes connected to the colors you can achieve at the end of the day. While some students are able to block out distractions, others benefit from positive reinforcement to shape desired behavior. The other theory that guided my observations were social cognitive theory. This theory is the framework for understanding how people learn and behave. I witnessed this theory firsthand in Miss Jones' class. A student being so enthused about learning more about lizards, something that he is very interested in, made the children want to discover and learn more about this topic as well. His interest in this topic made the whole class want to follow him, and it gave him a sense of self confidence. The tendencies associated with this theory include observational learning. The students model behavior they see. This is important for self efficacy. This helps other students believe in oneself and their ability and boosts their motivation. Reciprocal determination. This involves the environment and the type of behavior and personal factors that are interacted. Now it's time to discuss major takeaways. First takeaway I want you to learn from this lesson is to align lessons with students' interests. Students are more motivated when lessons align with their interests. Next, promote self efficiency. Self efficacy is critical for long term motivation and resilience. The next takeaway is students value self made goals. Students must value their goals. Value model. Next takeaway, always strive to provide a positive and inclusive environment. A positive and inclusive environment promotes emotional security and academic risk taking. Last takeaway I want you to really put your mind to is establish trust and display empathy. Trust and individualized attention is the key for a student to succeed. As I reflect on the experiences, observations, and interviews, I have many takeaways from this rewarding experience. Create a safe space. All three classrooms made space for students to feel heard and respected. Allowing students' inputs and expectations help create a culture of trust, which naturally encourage cooperation and good behavior. Model the tone for the class. This experience helped me realize the kind of teacher I want to become, an authoritative educator who is both supportive and structured. I saw firsthand the classroom energy starts with the teacher. Modeling positivity and respect leads to a positive and respectful class culture. Thanks for watching, fellow future educators. I hope these tips helped in some kind of way. Good luck, and always remember to strive to know your students personally to better support and motivate them.